TV2 News, how Kent State rallied against the banning of books in America. See what community members and students had to say at the read-in event.
As fall begins, so does voting season. We have all the details on how to register to vote.
GOP members still found the time on Thursday to hold their first hearing to impeach inquiry of President Biden, what they say and what will happen.
And if you're a fan of talk shows, you're in luck. The end of the writer's strike has signaled the return of some television favorites. All these stories and more as TV2 News starts right now.
This is TV2 News.
County, thank you so much for joining us this evening. I'm Sydney Brown.
And I'm Alexa Blakley. We begin tonight with how Kent State students are speaking out against book banning.
That's right. Our very own Kennedy Gotham was at the read-in event last night and is here now to tell us more about it. Hi, Kennedy. This was a really impactful event.
That's right, guys. It was. Students were able to read passages from books that they should not feel should be banned. And the banned book read-in focuses on having access to all kinds of books.
Let Freedom Read was this year's theme for the third annual banned book read-in. At this event, people were able to express the importance of individual freedom and read passages from various banned books.
But when we take those rights for granted, there's always someone there, a government actor, that's willing, in the interest of the public, to take those rights away. And when we don't stand up for them, that's more likely to happen.
But it's not for me. It wasn't made for my people, and my people are still being oppressed every day.
The event is hosted by the School of Communication Studies and various on-campus organizations.
Our freedom of speech is being limited every day, and so many people don't even know that because books aren't made readily available to them in schools.
The event started after the Ohio House introduced Bill 327. This would prevent the teaching of, quote, divisive concepts in public institutions, including colleges across the state.
You're preparing a whole generation of American kids who cannot perform in a workforce, because in a workplace, not everyone is like your family, not everyone is your color, not everyone is your preference, so you have to expose kids at an early age.
Smith said there are numerous banned books that have shaped who she is today.
To Kill a Mockingbird, banned. I mean, To Kill a Mockingbird transformed my views of social justice and racial justice.
The sponsors of House Bill 327 are from the Republican Party, some of which who are no longer in office or have passed away. If House Bill 327 were to pass, it would, quote, prohibit school districts, community schools, STEM schools, and state agencies from teaching, advocating, or promoting divisive concepts.
The positive impacts that things like books have on people's lives that they don't get the chance to see. And what I hope that people walk away from this event saying is that person read from a book that really touched and impacted their life. And my goodness, what if that book was restricted or banned?
House Bill 327 is currently in the House committee. Organizers of the read-in plan having another one just like this next year. Reporting for TV2 News, I'm Kennedy Gotham.
Thanks, Kennedy. Kent State will celebrate the unofficial mascot of the university, black squirrels. Tomorrow is the 41st Black Squirrel Festival to kick off Parents and Family Weekend. Students can expect student organization, tabling, food trucks, vendors, photo booths, and henna tattoo artists. The Flash's activity board will also be handing out free themed t-shirts. Tune in tomorrow at 6 for more details live from the festival.
And the Black Squirrel Festival is kicking off this year's Parents and Families Weekend. The weekend includes events all over campus, such as a family movie night in the Kiva, a creative writing experience hosted by the Wick Poetry Center, and a tailgate before the football game against Miami University on Saturday. Tune in with us again on Monday at 6 for all the details.
International Student Council is hosting a World Trivia event Friday night. Students can expect food and prizes while playing trivia, in addition to meeting their International Student Council senator. The organization is dedicated to supporting students from different areas and countries. World Trivia is from 5:30 to 7:30 at the Kent Student Center. It was a crisp fall day in Kent today, and the air is getting a bit colder and the leaves are starting to change, but we are approaching the peak fall colorful leaves.
That's right. The Ohio Department of Natural Resources says leaves are starting to change, specifically on red maples and sugar maple trees, but we will most likely reach peak fall foliage in late October.
I love when the leaves start to change.
Me too. It's so beautiful.
I know, and I love fall weather. Michael Neenan, do you like fall weather?
Well, I'm glad you asked. Good evening, Portage County. I'm Michael Neenan, here to tell you the weather so you don't have to check how nice it is outside for yourself. What's it like out now? Well, spoiler alert, it's not very nice out right now. Well, currently in Kent, it's 63 degrees, and it feels like 63 as well. The dew point is at 57 degrees, with winds traveling east to southeast at 5 miles per hour. Humidity is at 81%, and the visibility is only 8 miles. Now, as we check for what it's like tonight and going into tomorrow, at 8 it will be 62 degrees. We're going to be seeing a lot of clouds over the next 12-ish hours. At midnight it'll still be cloudy, but thankfully by 8 we will start to see a little more sun, though it will go into the high 50s. Now, as we see what it's like for tonight and tomorrow, we will actually get some rain at some point after midnight. It's going to be about 56 degrees with the winds traveling east to southeast at 6 miles per hour, and the sun will set at 7:12 p.m. But that's all I've got for now. Stay tuned, though, as we track the rain across Northeast Ohio and see what to expect over the next 7 days.
A potential federal government shutdown this weekend could cause national parks across Ohio to close as well. This would include Cuyahoga Valley National Park, which extends from Akron to Cleveland, as well as the Wayne National Forest, which covers over 250,000 acres of southeastern Ohio. While a complete park shutdown would be virtually impossible, the closing would involve restrictions to parking lots, closed bathrooms, and no ranger-led programming.
Out of the state capitol, Governor Mike DeWine and the Ohio Department of Health leaders spoke on what COVID currently looks like across the state. DeWine mentioned that the current strand of COVID-19 is apparent in what most assume is a common head cold. The governor, who had COVID less than 2 weeks ago, shared his recommendation that people get tested in the event that it is not only a cold. A 23-year-old woman who killed her mother was sentenced to life in prison today. Sydney Powell was convicted in a jury trial in Summit County Commons Pleas Court of murder. Powell's mother, Brenda, was murdered in March 2020 when she was hit her mother in the head with a cast iron skillet and stabbed her more than 30 times in the neck. Her attorney argued that she was not guilty by reasons of insanity and plans to file for an appeal. Sydney will be eligible for parole after 15 years. It's almost election season. Our very own Lex Radde is here to share how you can register and prepare for this year's November election.
This is an embarrassment. An embarrassment to the time and people of this country.
The first impeachment inquiry hearing of President Biden took place earlier today, but the Republicans making the accusations have run into a problem. What they said ahead.
Tomorrow's news leaders.
Today's top stories.
From an award-winning student newsroom.
This is TV2 News, truly Portage County.
Welcome back. November is right around the corner, and that means election season.
Exactly. Here to tell us more about the importance of voter registration is our reporter, Lex Radde.
Hey, Portage County, fall is finally here, bringing us pumpkins, Halloween candy, and an election. But before you can vote in this local election, you're going to need to be registered to vote.
The voter registration deadline is quickly approaching, ending on October 10th. And the community is encouraging students to go out and get registered.
I think that the importance really comes down to having a voice in our democracy.
It's also about creating change.
This is our right as a U.S. citizen, is to provide that voice to our legislation and to our elected officials, and that's how we tell them.
And student voters are mattering more than ever in the upcoming Ward 4 City Councilman election. Democrat candidate Chris Hook has been focusing on student votes throughout his campaign.
I'm running for Kent City Council in Ward 4, which covers the majority of campus.
The youth have shown that when they show up to the polls, there's a difference.
While voting in city elections is uncommon compared to state or presidential elections, Rose says, the proposals that are passed affect city residents more than any other type of government.
I think that our local government is probably one of the most important of all of the levels and the branches of government. On the ballot, those are going to affect every generation.
And one of the ways to contribute to the community is to get registered to vote.
People don't really know, but the city is actually trying to create a plan for combating climate change. And that's where we need a lot of young people to come and contribute.
There are many resources here on campus to assist students on how to register to vote, including student organizations hosting info tables in the library from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m., and also many sources online.
We have those at vote411.org. So again, if you're looking for information, anything that you want to know about voting in Ohio, anything is at vote411.org.
Just another reminder that the voter registration deadline for the Ward 4 City Councilman election ends October 10th. The election will be taking place on November 7th. For TV2 News, this is Lex Radde.
Thanks, Lex. The second Republican presidential debate took place last night and saw 7 candidates facing off against each other.
However, former President Donald Trump was once again absent from the debate to hold his own event in Detroit. Reporter Mike Valerio has all the details.
As 7 GOP presidential hopefuls took the stage at the Ronald Reagan Presidential Library Wednesday night, the party's frontrunner was once again absent.
Donald Trump is missing in action. He put $7 trillion on the debt. He should be in this room to answer those questions for the people you talk about who are suffering.
With a smaller stage, down 1 from their last debate, the candidates fought to break through.
Gentlemen, you'll have your turn.
One of the challenges we should have
please focus on the issues that matter.
The man at the center lectern, Ron DeSantis, went into the night with a lot to prove. Once considered the party's best hope of dethroning former President Donald Trump, the Florida governor has lost ground in recent polls.
As commander-in-chief, I'm going to use the U.S. military to go after the Mexican drug cartels. They are killing our people.
After memorably clashing with several rivals in Milwaukee, entrepreneur Vivek Ramaswamy said his goal this time around was to stress his policies and positions.
Unlock American energy. Drill, frack, burn coal, embrace nuclear energy, put people back to work.
And former South Carolina Governor Nikki Haley looked to build on the momentum her campaign received from the previous debate.
We need to make sure we put 25,000 more Border Patrol and ICE agents on the ground and let them do their job.
As for the former president, Donald Trump once again skipped the evening, opting to hold an event in Detroit amid the ongoing auto workers strike.
I've risked it all to defend working class from the corrupt political class that has spent decades sucking the life, wealth, and blood out of this country.
In Los Angeles, I'm Mike Valerio.
El Paso, Texas is restarting its migrant busing operation. As part of a decompression strategy due to the high number of migrant crossings at the southern border, the El Paso buses bring migrants to New York. In response, New York officials say they have upwardly revised work authorization eligibilities to allow for more Venezuelan migrants to receive work permits.
Tensions continue to build in D.C. as a government shutdown could be on the horizon, but lawmakers are hoping for a solution despite their separate spending plans.
I believe we can secure the border, get the funding needed to keep government up and running. This is a president that's sitting on the sidelines. I would like to see a president that's willing to engage.
The government shutdown is still looming. The Democratic-led Senate continued with a bipartisan stoppage funding bill. Meanwhile, in the House, they are preparing to vote on a Republican spending bill. The divergent plans of the two chambers would increase the odds that federal agencies will run out of money on Sunday. A government shutdown would impact hundreds of thousands of federal workers and halt a wide range of services from economic data releases to nutrition benefits.
House Republicans kicked off their first impeachment inquiry hearing today to lay out their allegations against President Biden. At the center of the allegations was Hunter Biden's foreign business dealings, though no witnesses were able to speak directly to the situation at today's hearing.
He lied by telling the American people that there was an absolute wall between his official government duties and his personal life.
The majority sits completely empty-handed with no evidence of any presidential wrongdoing, no smoking gun, no smoke.
Some Republicans have expressed frustration with how the hearing played out, especially in regards to the admittance that there is no evidence that proves that President Biden benefited from his son's dealings. Democrats have responded by accusing Republicans of raising the Biden family's foreign dealings themselves, as well as Trump's attempts to get Ukraine to investigate in 2019 the same allegations now being raised.
Senator John Fetterman is stirring up overlooked conversations about the dress code in the Senate. Today they passed a unanimous agreement of a formal business attire to be official in the Senate.
I believe that it's not the person that is made by how they dress as well, too. I mean, yet you're still willing to speak to me, and I'm in a hoodie, and you're in a suit. You know, if you would have showed up, you know, dressed like Spider-Man, I still would have been delighted to speak to you because I know you're a professional, and I'm delighted to do that.
Senator Fetterman continues to emphasize that there should be more important matters to discuss. He clarified that he had not worn hoodies on the Senate floor and never planned to. He went on to explain that there are a lot of very hardworking people in Washington, D.C., and they shouldn't have to worry about their financial burden of dry cleaning, and as long as they are comfortable in continuing to serve the nation, it doesn't matter if they're in a suit.
Today marks 1 year since Hurricane Ian hit Florida. 149 lives were lost and nearly half of those from a highly populated area, Lee County.
But lots of people came together in this adversity to help rebuild the cities with encampments, animal rescues, and organized cleanups.
Welcome back. Sticks and stones may break my bones, but rain will always ruin my day. So I say we track the rain across Northeast Ohio. Let's take a look. So, starting off in 6, which is around now, the rain started in around the Cleveland area, but as we go further into the day, it will mostly be around Ashtabula, around the lake in Youngstown, but there will be a little pocket of rain that will be there at around midnight to, say, 3 p.m. But let's take a look at the temperatures across Northeast Ohio. Well, starting off with rest of Ohio, going from west to east, Lima is at 71 degrees, Dayton is at 71, and Cincinnati at 73. And then Sandusky is at 69 degrees, Mansfield is at 67, Cleveland 66, Worcester is 67, Canton is 68, Kent is at 65, Youngstown is at 69, and Ashtabula is also at 69 degrees. Let's check out the 7-day forecast, shall we? Friday, it's going to be mostly cloudy. It's going to be in the 70s with a low of 53. But good news, a lot of sunny days ahead. It's going to be mostly in the mid to late 70s, even into the 80s on Monday. Yeah, we're going to have a very sunny Monday. It's looking up. And it'll be 81 on Tuesday and 81 on Wednesday as well. But next Thursday, it will be a little bit cloudy. It'll be 77 degrees with a low of 56. But it will be mostly sunny that day. It's not too big of a deal. Well, that's all I've got for now. Be sure to visit KentWire.com for any updates on severe weather and more. I've been Michael Neenan. Let's get right back to the news.
Thanks, Michael. Late night talk shows are back. Stephen Colbert, Jimmy Kimmel, Jimmy Fallon, Seth Meyers, and John Oliver have all announced their respective shows are coming back now that the writer's strike is over. The 5 hosts all announced in a joint statement on Instagram that their podcast, Strike Force 5, was ending. The comedians launched the podcast during the strike and said all proceeds would go to their out-of-staff workers because of the ongoing strike since May 2nd.
Michael Gambon, beloved actor and star of the Harry Potter films, has passed away at the age of 82. Gambon played Hogwarts headmaster Albus Dumbledore in 6 of the 8 Harry Potter movies, as well as many roles across TV, film, and radio. He won multiple awards for Best Actor at the British Academy Television Awards, and was nominated for 2 Emmys. His family reported that he died peacefully in the hospital with his wife and son at his side.
Terry Francona's final Progressive Field win as the Guardians general manager was brought to a halt. Find out how Francona's night was tested off of the field.
And the KSU women's soccer team will be playing later tonight against Eastern Michigan. Find out what the theme is for the game later on.
It seemed like old times for the Guardians on Wednesday. Last night was Terry Francona's final game as the Progressive Field, but his final victory at the game came to a halt when his scooter was stolen once again.
The Guardians general manager revealed before the game that the scooter was stolen around 10 days ago. Francona had been using a rental scooter instead.
My goodness, that scooter is iconic, I think. Dom, come on, this is just insane that you can't let him go.
I don't know how that happened. I mean, that's an iconic piece of hardware for him. I don't know how they let it go like that.
I don't know, but they're just trying to hold on to him, I think. It's just, they're keeping him around somehow.
Well, thank you all for tuning in. Hello, friends. Welcome to your TV2 Sports Report. I'm Dom O'Brien, and we're going to take a walk around the sports scene in Northeast Ohio, starting with college. The 4-10 women's volleyball team is currently playing the 6-7 Akron Zips and will plan to play them again tomorrow. The Golden Flashes are coming off a 3-0 defeat against the Ohio Bobcats and are now currently on a 4-game losing streak. We move it over to soccer. Following the Flashes' tight win against the Akron Zips, the women's soccer team will host another MAC opponent in the Eastern Michigan Eagles, who are 1-4-5. The Flashes will also be celebrating Rock and Roll Night, complete with a live guitar national anthem. The match will begin at 7 o'clock sharp, and if you're there in person, you'll hear our very own Matt Corrali announcing the game for the crowd. We kick it on over to Progressive Field. Like we mentioned, Terry Francona, his last game he's managing for the Guardians at home. But right here in the bottom of the third, Josh Naylor with a missile to right field, banking it off the back wall, helping to run in Stephen Kwan and to make it a 3-0 ball game so far. Top of the fifth, 4-0 now, as Will Benson bouncing off of Naylor. Rocchio to the plate, gets Ellie De La Cruz out to end the inning. What a tough play there. 4-1 now, top of the eighth, Jonathan India doubling to left, running in Nick Martini. The throw from Kwan was not enough to get India out, but the Reds didn't score enough to get back into the game. Emmanuel Clase finishing out the game for the Guardians, his 43rd save on the season. Josh Naylor tagging the last runner out, ending it 4-3, Guardians winning and ending it at the last home game for Terry Francona. And that was his 920th win as the manager. Well, we thank you all for watching. And by the way, we have over Thursday Night Football, Lions versus Packers, as Jordan Love and the Green Bay Packers are going to be taking on Jared Goff and the Detroit Lions tonight at 8:15 on Prime Video. Green Bay's Aaron Jones is expected to suit up tonight, coming back from a hamstring injury, alongside Christian Watson, who will play for the first time this season. And that is all we got for you tonight, but if you're looking for more sports coverage from us, be sure to follow us on all social media at TV2 KSU Sports. For more Portage County sports updates, this is Dom O'Brien signing off.
She continues to sell tickets. Find out how Taylor Swift is now getting people to go to MetLife Stadium this weekend amid rumors of her attendance at this weekend's Chiefs-Jets game.
Welcome back. Tomorrow morning will be your last chance to see a supermoon this year. This supermoon will be closer to Earth than usual, making it appear bigger and brighter, and is known as the harvest moon as a nod to the fall season. Other names include the corn marker moon, moon of brown leaves, or autumn moon. You can see the harvest moon for yourself when it rises at 6 in the morning tomorrow.
Word on the street is that Taylor Swift might be in attendance at Sunday night's Chiefs-Jets game in New Jersey. But this is just a rumor of the Eras Tour singer's attendance brought up ticket sales more than 40% according to the online ticketing service TickPick. This is also the single best ticketing sales day for the Jets this season. Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift have not confirmed that they are dating yet, but Swift was all smiles with Kelce's mom last weekend at the Chiefs game. Did you guys see this? The photos of her?
Oh yeah, it was awesome. I mean, I loved it. I watched every bit of the game, and then they kept showing Taylor Swift, but it was still really cool, honestly.
It really is just a fun thing that's happening.
Yeah, she must be really famous. I mean, I love Travis
One could
Kelce,
say.
But, you know, I mean, Taylor Swift, she must be pretty big if she's, you know, the camera's panning to her like every other play.
Yeah, that is really funny. Like, and then have you guys seen how jersey sales have just like 400% increase too for that?
Yeah, they want to support the quote unquote couple, that's for sure. Travis Kelce getting all those jersey sales is pretty superb, I'm not gonna lie.
Good for him. Best move he could have made, right?
Yeah.
But unfortunately, that's all the time we have for you today.
Thank you so much for joining us.
For updates on all these stories and more, visit our website.
And follow us across social media at Kent Wired. I've been Dom O'Brien.
I'm Michael Neenan.
I'm Alexa Blakley.
And I'm Sydney Brown. Have a great night, Portage County.
This is Portage County's TV2, broadcasting from the campus of Kent State University. Streaming online at kentwired.com.